What's going on, guys? It's Chris from Team Setback. So Alintheayoh made a video talking about YuGiOh prize support being underwhelming, with Team APS later responding to that video saying that YuGiOh is falling behind its competition. Seeing these two videos, I wanted to give my 2 cents on the idea that YuGiOh is just falling behind. So to start things off, I want to say that YuGiOh is way behind when it comes to being a card game. Even when comparing it to things like Magic the Gathering and Pokemon, even Vanguard, it's way behind. Now, I'm not talking about popularity here, because I'm sure YuGiOh is still more popular than Vanguard. No offense to the Vanguard players out there, but YuGiOh has been around for a lot longer, and it was mainstream at one point, whereas Vanguard is sort of more of a niche. Only a certain group of people really know about it, that being the card players. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. The issue is that even though YuGiOh is more than likely more popular, it's still way behind, even when comparing it to something like Vanguard. The first one being that prize support. Alintheayoh made a really good video on this, and I recommend you go check it out if you haven't already. But to sum it up, YuGiOh's prize support is absolute garbage when compared to other card games. Magic the Gathering and Pokemon have insane prize support, to the point where they offer cash prizes for the highest level tournaments. In YuGiOh, you win what? A console? A single console? Maybe a card that's worth like $400? I mean, for Dragon Duels, if you guys don't know what that is, it's pretty much like a junior league for the competitive side of YuGiOh. The winner of Dragon Duels only got very old Dark Lord cards. Are you kidding me? That's the prize for winning? Now, the thing with prize support in YuGiOh is that Konami can't really just make it so they start giving cash out. Takahashi says that he doesn't want that to be a part of the game, so Konami have to comply with that. That being said, one of the largest incentives for playing the other card games, Pokemon, Magic, and I believe even Vanguard, is that they offer these cash prizes. It's an incentive to go out and play the game to get better, because you can potentially, I say potentially because at the end of the day it's a card game, potentially make a living off of this. YuGiOh right now isn't maintainable. I guess if you're like a YuGiTuber or someone who's big in the scene, yes, potentially you can make a living off of just playing YuGiOh, but if you want to make a living off purely playing YuGiOh, like being good at YuGiOh, that right now is impossible. The prize support just doesn't allow for that. Now, Paul from Team APS brings up a good point. Yes, you can't offer cash prizes, as we all know, but at the very least, you can offer really good items that can sell relatively quickly, that essentially makes it a cash prize. For example, you can make it so first place of a YCS gets a Nintendo Switch, a PS4, and an Xbox One. And they can sell that off and maybe get I'm not sure how much that's all worth. I guess it depends on which version of the console you would give them. But let's assume each one is like $300, then that's almost $1,000 off winning a YCS, which still isn't much compared to other card games, but it's something. Even then, if you want to stick with just like YuGiOh prize support, what you can do is, especially for something like Worlds, is make it so the Worlds winner, first and second place, get a prize related to YuGiOh. And I don't mean a single card that's exclusive that, it's a one of, although that would be pretty cool. I guess technically it'd be priceless because it'd be the only one in existence. For example, if you get first place at Worlds, maybe you get a free case of every set until the next Worlds sent to you for free. That'd be a pretty good incentive. That'd be, because you can make your money back from, getting these free cases, either reselling the boxes or, just opening the packs and making your collection bigger than selling off the cards you don't need. All around, it'd be a pretty damn good incentive. I would play a lot more competitive YuGiOh if that was a thing. I'm still a competitive player, but, I don't really have much motivation to go on besides my, wanting to beat my friends. Now, it can't stop there. You'd have to give a certain prize for, say, top 8 at a YCS or, top 4 at Worlds or something like that. So maybe you take that case for, Worlds and make it so second place gets 8 boxes, and then third place gets 6 boxes, and fourth place gets 4 boxes of every upcoming set until the next Worlds is sent to them for free. And for YCSs, maybe give them, a console? I'm not sure. YCSs are a little bit more iffy because there's so many of them. And, if we go on with the idea of liquidating assets, things that you can resell pretty quickly, We can't just give them 5 consoles of, of an Xbox and call it one, even though that'd have pretty good resale value. So I don't know about YCS, but I think the idea of giving someone free sets for every upcoming set until Worlds is pretty good. So another part where Yu-Gi-Oh is falling way behind when it comes to competition is just horrible management for the game itself. Now, I'm not talking about, OCG and TCG being essentially 2 separate card games with 2 separate card pools until Worlds happens and they combine the ban list and say you can only use cards that were released in both regions or in both sides of the card game. I mean, within the TCG itself, it's pretty terribly managed. For example, if the North American players get a jump promo, then the European players can't use it at all because it's technically not released in Europe. Which is dumb. It's the same. It's TCG. It's supposed to be everyone within the TCG has the same card pool. And if you go to Europe, you can use your North American cards. If you're from Spain and you go to the US, you can use your Spanish cards there because it's all a part of the same branch of Yu-Gi-Oh. But because a jump promo was released in the US and Canada and not Europe, Europe can't use it, but the US and Canada can. Which it's really dumb. That shouldn't be a thing. It's fine to have TCG and OCG exclusives. I'm personally fine with that. I like the idea of that. But you can't have TCG exclusives for certain regions of the TCG. Another issue is that there's terrible communication. Now, if you guys don't remember this, back when Upper Deck Entertainment had control of the game in the Western side, the TCG side of things, they would have an explanation for why they would ban certain cards. At least I think they did. I don't remember clearly, but because that was a long time ago, but I'm pretty sure they did. Well, eventually Konami took over. There's a whole controversy. I'm not going to get into that. But Konami took over, and at some point, they just stopped giving explanation for why certain cards were banned or hit on the ban list. And, at first I didn't like it, but eventually I realized that no matter what they say, people would complain about it. They could have given the best reason possible for why a certain card should be hit, and people would have complained saying that Konami doesn't know their own game. So I'm perfectly fine with that being gone. I know some people like it, but personally, I really couldn't care less. But one thing I do care about is no more ban list dates. It's bad enough for some people wanting an explanation for the ban list, and then you removing that. It's another issue when you remove the ban list dates, which have been in the game pretty much since the first ban list was created. There's no reason people should have to worry if a new deck they bought will be hit on some ban list sometime in the future. Because the main thing I liked about ban list dates is that you had a certain time period of being able to play with that deck, knowing very well that there's not going to be a random list popping up and completely ruining the fun for you because you thought you had 3 months, but you only really got 1 month. Obviously, that's not including emergency ban lists, because if that happens, then your deck was probably dominating the format, but that's beside the point. Now, Konami has gotten slightly better at this, but it's still a step back from where they started. So instead of giving us, set dates for when a ban list is going to drop, they instead give us some idea of when they can expect a new ban list coming out. For example, they said that the ban list isn't coming out anytime before April. So you knew that after the first ban list, unless something really popped up that was taking over the format, we weren't going to get a ban list at any point between that first ban list and April. But now April comes along and everybody's panicking because no one wants to buy a new deck because you don't know what's going to get hit. And you don't know when the ban list is coming out. It can come out tomorrow or it can come out in September, and we have no idea. So until that ban list comes out and then gives us a reassurance of the ban list not coming any sooner than this certain month, people are going to be in a pickle, in a pickle, because they're going to be deciding whether or not it's a good idea to invest in a meta deck, knowing very well that the day after they buy the cards, it can immediately get hit. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that. And the final gripe I have with the way Yu-Gi-Oh is being ran and why it's falling so far behind when it comes to its competition is that there's very, very little interaction with the community. Yu-Gi-Oh has this huge online influence in Yu-Gi tubers. Now, they did try to do this. They gave a bunch of larger Yu-Gi tubers promos for Duel Links, which is really cool. It shows that they know they exist, that they recognize that they're doing something for the game. So utilize them more. You can have these high profile players, live stream certain events, commentate certain events. It makes players feel like they're a part of the game when people they follow online are the ones sort of leading the events. Even if you can't pay these people like Paul suggested, having them, volunteer to live stream major events that they were at already, or maybe having them be on the live stream for a few minutes in between rounds to talk about the YCS and how they're doing. That would be pretty cool. That would be lovely. That would be amazing. Or maybe even have them volunteer to just live stream for the YCS because they're not actually playing. They're just there with friends or something. I don't know. But you have YuGiTubers, use them. I'm sure most of them would love to interact directly with Konami in some sort of friendship, interaction. Like they would love to, is what I'm trying to say, right? Many YuGiTubers would love to have some sort of interaction with Konami. Anyway, that's pretty much it. YuGiOh is falling behind when it comes to competition. Hopefully in the future they work on resolving some of these issues. Obviously certain things they can't really resolve, like I said, because they have other influences on them that prevent them from giving things like cash prizes, but working to find ways around this would be very, very nice. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment, like, and subscribe, and turn on the bell icon to be notified of future uploads. Anyway, I'll be seeing you guys soon.